a storm. It is Anfield Agenda time. Craig is set for the day and the news. Sit back and relax, grab a coffee and chill, and enjoy the shenanigans tonight. Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda. Time for Craig to tell it straight. Watch alongs to fill your day. Make to subscribe and stay. Up the Reds, up the Reds. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh. Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda. Time for Craig to tell it straight. Watch alongs to fill your day. Make to subscribe and stay. Up the Reds, up the Reds. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, oh, ooh. Oh, 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 Anfield Agenda. Anfield Agenda. YNWA. Anfield Agenda.
What is up, my friends? Happy Christmas Eve to each and every one of you, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for taking a little time out of your day to come and have a chat with me. We didn't think we'd go with a full football-y title for tonight, but don't worry, we do have plenty of news to get through. Thank you all for being here, as I mentioned. I appreciate all of your support. I've already seen a super chat that's come in, so I better bring it up on screen before I forget. So, Suleiman, thank you, mate, and happy holidays to you and your family as well. But I also agree with you. For once, I wouldn't mind Bad News Pierce coming out to rubbish this one, and we will talk about that Muani link a little bit later on as well, my man. But thank you. Merry Christmas to you, or happy holiday seasons to you and your family as well. That's the greatest team song I've ever heard. We love that. Somebody made it to us and sent it in. A gentleman called Connor. And I do it because it's relaxing. You know, it's a bit cringy at times, but it's also a little bit of fun and we don't take ourselves too seriously. Jason Son, thank you, mate. Been a member with us for 8 months. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas, everybody. Jason said, thank you, mate. And same to you. So look, we do have a lot to go through tonight. I'm going to be dipping in and out of the chat. We're going to be talking about some of the news stories. And we're all waiting anxiously to see if we get any type of a Christmas present from the club tomorrow morning. I mean, I won't see it in the morning, but I'm hoping if you guys see it, you'll let us know about it. So, right, what's my Leicester prediction? It's recorded in the can and ready to go out tomorrow. So it'll be coming out at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So don't worry, it's already done and dusted and ready to go for you. So, we do have quite a bit to get through tonight, but I want to start off with... Oh, actually, I want to start off by showing you something. 1 second. Let me just grab this image and then we'll go from there. Where did that image go? Where are you gone? Where are you gone? Where are you gone, little image? Where's it gone? Ah, it's hidden all the way up there. Okay, we made something. Yeah, we made a little something there for you. What do you think? So now every time we go to talk about something that's just nonsense, we can just pull that up and just show you that instead. So there you go. So this first story that we're going to be covering very much belongs there. So yeah, let me get the story and then we'll go from there. 1 second. It's good, isn't it? See? See, AI does have its uses. It does have some good uses. So now every time I want to talk about a story that's nonsense, we can just go, I think it belongs on here. See? Works. Right, so the first story of the day, which absolutely, positively does belong on that island, is this one, and it comes from the Daily Mirror. I read this last night, and I thought I'd gone back to, 4 years ago. But it said, Liverpool boss Arne Slot has been dealt a blow to his hopes of signing Christian Pulisic. It goes on to say that AC Milan set to hand them a new deal. That one caught me off guard because, one, we don't need Pulisic. Two, he's absolutely very happy and settled there in Milan. And three, where the hell did they pull that one out of? Was this like one of those put your hand in a bowl, pull out a transfer name and just, guess? Because there's absolutely no way that we're in for Christian Pulisic, and there was a time I would have loved to have seen Christian Pulisic in a Liverpool shirt, by the way, when he was at Dortmund, when Jurgen was here. But it looks like he's found a league, a team that suits him very well, and he's going to sign a new deal there. But that was just a bit of a mad one. I mean, talk about throwing in Liverpool's name just for the sake of pushing a story. I don't think anybody at all thinks that we're in for Christian Pulisic, so that was a weird one. Stevie Boy, how are you, bro? Said 20 times incoming, Merry Christmas to everybody. It's definitely incoming. It is, mate. I'm fully convinced now at this point. And I know that there's a long way to go, and I know that I'm supposed to be on the fence and all, but no, I'm with you. I think we're going to do it. I do. I think we're going to do it, mate. And then there will be no doubt, will there? There'll be no more debating or anything. They still have that one thing over us, those United fans. But, while we're speaking about United, actually, here's a mad one for you. So remember when Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe pulled away all the FA Cup final perks for the staff at Manchester United? Well, apparently Bruno Fernandes offered to pay for it all, but Ineos wouldn't let him because they thought it would look bad on Ineos, which they were right about. Of course it would have, because they're absolutely miserable Scrooges. But I don't get it. I'm so glad we're not United fans and we don't have to deal with this nonsense, because it is truly pathetic. The captain of the club there looking to pay for the stuff that the owner, the billionaire, wouldn't be coughing up for, and they wouldn't let them do it because it would make them look cheap. But maybe that is because you are cheap and you very much should be getting called out for that type of stuff. Caden said, Craig, it was my birthday yesterday. Could you please wish me a belated happy birthday? Absolutely, Caden. I hope you had a lovely day yesterday. And thank you for being with us. And as you said, happy birthday to you. Tala said, honestly, respect Bruno for that. 100%. I don't understand how they're getting away with that at United as owners. It's so tin pot and pathetic that it should be called out. So look, what we're going to be speaking about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to be speaking a little bit about Aldo thinking we should go in for a particular striker, and in January. We're going to be speaking about a crazy link coming around Randall Kolo Muani, who we're speaking about a little bit as well. We're going to be speaking about the Catalaire of Atalanta, formerly of AC Milan, who has sort of been linked to Liverpool. We're going to be asking who's going to sign the contract and when might we see them. And we're going to give you a bit of an update around Ibrahim Konate as well, which it isn't a terrible update, but it's also not a great update. So let's start off with Ibu, shall we? But before I do, a couple of super chats that I just want to catch up on before I forget. Right, so Trek Spell Boston said, Merry Christmas, Craig, and a Happy New Year. Same to you, my friend. And thank you for dropping in. Hope you have a lovely festive season. Cody Gaming and Football said, Merry Christmas, Craig, love your content. Thank you, Cody, appreciate you, and I hope you and your family have a wonderful Christmas as well. And then David Massett, who's been with us for 6 months as a member, Merry Christmas to you and your family, Craig. Thank you, David, same to you and yours, sir. So look, Ibrahim Konate, it looks as if Konate won't be back this side of January the 1st. Now, I don't know what that means with regards to how long into the new year, but I'll read you out exactly what it says, and then we can try and figure it out together. So it says, where's the story gone? Which one is it? Which one is it? This one. Konate is now not expected to be back fit before the end of the year, with caution being taken over his recovery from a knee injury. And that comes in from This Is Anfield. So Not great news, but again, not the worst news. I'm always up for the club being a little bit extra cautious if possible. We've 2 games left, obviously, this side of January the 1st. We've got Leicester City coming up on the 26th, and then we've got West Ham away on the 29th. So, I'm sure we can navigate through those games, but it'd be nice to hear exactly how much into the new year we're going to be waiting for Ibu, because, we all want him back. Sonny Hughes, how are you, bro? And thank you so much for your super chat, mate. Very kind. Said, Merry Christmas, Craig. I want 3 contract extensions for Christmas. Have a great day tomorrow. Thank you. And same to you and your family as well, mate. So, we went to the cinema today, actually. I think it's my first time being in the cinema in about... whenever Ant-Man was out. That was the last time I went to the cinema. So, Lucas wanted to go to the cinema today. So, we went to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And I just forgot how good Jim Carrey is in everything. He's just such an incredible actor. So, yeah, Sonic 3, I'll give it a thumbs up. Goes the Christmas future to FSG. You could have won a treble. Well, no. Let's wait and see what happens in the January market. Let me ask you a bit of a straightforward question for tonight's first poll, if I may. One sec, let me type this out. Nope, spelled that wrong, Craig. Right, so here's what I'm going to ask, right? Because we've all been speaking for the last couple of weeks about what may happen with the contracts. So what I want to ask is, are you expecting good contract news on Christmas Day? A simple yes or a no. I want to know how everyone's feeling, because I hope if people do say yes, that they aren't feeling disappointed tomorrow, because I know a lot of people have been eagerly refreshing and looking, and look, I've been there as well, but I want to see how you're feeling about it. Now, I'm a pessimist in most situations, so I'm not, but God, I'd love to be wrong. Oh, look, tomorrow, to wake up and see if that news broke, wow, that would genuinely be an amazing Christmas. Christmas dinner handed up to me, which is going to be lovely as well, because we're going up to my mother-in-law's. So, yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be brilliant. John Henry would make a good Ebenezer Scrooge. I agree. He wouldn't even have to need much makeup or anything. I think he could go as he is. Yeah, I agree. Right, look, let's get into some of the actual news before we forget. So, Mohamed Salah has now moved into the all-time top 10 Premier League assist charts. So, we know where he's at in the goal-scoring charts, but right now, he has moved level with David Beckham in joint 10th place on the all-time Premier League assists chart with 80 assists. He's a long way to go before he gets to the top of it, and I don't think he'll get there, to be honest. Ryan Giggs currently sits atop of that list with a remarkable 162 Premier League assists, which is incredible. Second on the list, Kevin De Bruyne with 114. Now, of course, Ryan Giggs did play 632 Premier League games, which is a lot of footy at the top level. Cesc Fabregas has 111 from 350 games. Wayne Rooney, 103 assists from 491. Frank Lampard, 102 assists from 609 appearances. Then comes Bergkamp with 315 appearances, 94 assists. David Silva, 309 appearances, 93 assists. Stevie G in at number 8 with 504 appearances and 92 assists. And then at number 9, Mr. Jimmy Milner with 637 appearances and 89 assists for Jimmy Milner. Sipsco, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. I know you've been a member before as well, so welcome back in, bro. Right, I've got some actual news to get through tonight as well, so don't be going anywhere. We do have some football talk to go through. Harry said, what boxing match do you want to see in 2025? I'd like to see Moses versus Daniel Dubois. A Merry Christmas to all the friends and family in the chat. I think Moses Ituama is a little bit away from fighting for a world title for me. I think there's still a little bit to go on that one. So what would I like to see? Canelo Benavidez, maybe. What else would I... AJ Fury. I still want to see that fight. I think that at Wembley will always do good numbers. Adam, thank you, mate. Appreciate your super chat. Thank you, sir. Obviously, not a religious person, but I appreciate the sentiment behind it, my man. Thank you. Craig, do you believe in the Salah Christmas curse? I absolutely do not. I do not, Yusuf, mate. No, I don't believe in anything that is bad. I don't believe in letting bad vibes in. So, no, absolutely not. There'll be no curse for Mohamed Salah. He'll be absolutely remarkable in the second half of the season, just as he was in the first half. So, Isak. Let's talk a little bit about Alexander Isak, if I may, because there's two parts to this that I want to bring to your attention. So, firstly, the Mail have said, sources told Newcastle Confidential in October that Alexander Isak's camp would seek a move away if Newcastle do not qualify for the Champions League, with Arsenal having declared an interest. I want to talk about Isak tonight because there's a former Liverpool legend who also wants us to go and get Isak. So I'm going to talk about, do we think that one is achievable? But before I do, wow, Joe, man, thank you so much. That's incredibly generous of you, Joe, mate. Thank you. I absolutely will not be spending that on the missus. No. I will use that frivolously for myself, dude. No, jokes aside, mate. Thank you. That is incredibly kind. And I will, of course, get the good lady something, as you've instructed, mate, with your super chat. Thank you. Genuinely, mate. Thank you. That means, to know you mean that much to somebody, mate, you know, like everybody else in the chat, it just means a lot. Thank you so much, Joe, and wishing you and your family, mate, a brilliant 2025 and obviously a lovely holiday season. You caught me off guard with that one a little bit, mate. I wasn't expecting anything like that in this evening. Thank you. You usually expect the super chats like that on a match day, and even at that, you wouldn't even expect them, you know. Thank you so much. The Honest Tiger said, Happy Christmas, hope you're keeping well. Just a big thank you for all the fun banter with United fans. Love watching the show after Adam. Thank you. I appreciate it, mate. I do. I've always said this. The banter with United fans is one of my favourite things I do on here. And United fans have been good to me over the years. They understand it's banter, you know. And there's always been, I hope, a mutual respect there. But I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'd certainly remember you from getting to know you in the chat when we were working with Adam as well. Always enjoyed our interactions, mate, so thank you. Chris Adams, thank you for gifting a membership as well. Really kind of you. So look, I want to get into the Isak story because there's a lot to go through here. So I've read that part out to you about Newcastle fearing that Isak may want out. Arsenal being linked doesn't surprise me. They need a striker. But John Aldridge... This is what John Aldridge has said in his latest Echo column, which you guys can go and have a read of. Before I read this part though, Sipsco, thank you, bro. Gifting 5 memberships as well. We love it. 'Tis the season and all that. Thank you very much, Sipsco01. So John Aldridge has written this, and the full piece is up there if you want to have a look on the Echo yourself. He said, I still think there's a player out there to go and buy as an insurance policy. Go and get them in the January transfer window. If they are there, go and get them. That's what I think. I really do, even though the squad is already that good. They spent next to nothing in the summer. Yes, John, they did, Aldo, mate. Absolutely. It sounds daft, but I wouldn't mind another striker, said John Aldridge. If you can go and get Isak from Newcastle, four. It's only tongue-in-cheek, but if there is somebody going that strengthens what we've got, we're top of the league, why not go and do it? And look, I agree with John Aldridge that we need a player in the market. For me, it's midfielder. But Isak would be a very interesting one. You know, Newcastle won't want to sell him, but I can understand him wanting regular Champions League football as well, because let's be honest, he's good enough to be playing regular Champions League football. So, on Isak, what are your thoughts on that one? Marmoush still seems the most likely to me for Liverpool if we're bringing in a forward, and I really don't think we'll be bringing in a forward in January, despite another link that we're going to go over in a few minutes around PSG. Jamie King, welcome in, mate, as a member. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for joining Anfield Agenda FC. Jobo said, I'd rather Marmoush. Do you know what? I'll put that up as a poll, mate, in a second. What was the first one I did ask? Are you expecting good contract news on Christmas Day? We needed to get to 1,000 votes, and then we'll move on to a question, I guess, around Isak, Marmoush, and see what you guys think, which one you prefer. So, let's get us up to 1,000 votes on that, and then we'll move on to talk about the forward situation. What about Sandro Tonali? I heard he wants to leave Newcastle. Honestly, I wouldn't be going near Tonali after, I know he's getting help and, moving past it, but I wouldn't be going near Tonali personally. But he's a very fine footballer. I was really surprised, if I'm honest, that Newcastle were able to get him. I didn't see that one coming, but, he's starting to deliver for them since he's come back again. Very good player, though. Any chance of us going after Alphonso Davies? So, Billy, I mentioned this to David Lynch in our video the other day, and it was quite reassuring to hear his response being the same as mine. It's the wages. Liverpool are not going to, one, pay what he'd be asking for, but two, also get involved in a bidding war regarding wages, because, there'd be a signing on fee and whatnot. I know it'd be a free deal, but you're talking absolutely insane numbers, and there's just quite simply better value to be had out there. I like Alphonso Davies. I think most people in the chat here would be more than happy to have Alphonso Davies, but it just isn't realistic. Right. By the way, subs are flying up. Thank you all so much. Remember last night when we were on and we just ticked over 288,000. But between now and then we've gone up over 200 more. So thank you so much to everyone that's subscribing, dropping likes on the videos. It really does mean the world to us. Right, as soon as we get this poll up to 1,000 votes, we'll move on then to speak a little bit about Isak Marmoush and what you guys are thinking on that one. Happy Christmas, Craig. Your channel's one of my favourites now. Have a good one. I appreciate that, mate. Really, I do. I know I say this a lot, but knowing that, little old me is part of people's daily routines and lives, it's something that really means a lot to me, so thank you. Venom, same to you and your family as well, bro. Thoughts on Kolo Muani? Yeah, I'm going to move on to him in a second, bro. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm going to move on to Kolo Muani in a minute or two. I just want to get through some of the comments because a lot of people wishing us Merry Christmas and stuff, and obviously I want to respond to as many people as I can. On this one, I might be wrong. Maybe members can tell me out this before, but I think Connor did share a download link for the intro song before in the membership tab. Let me check into that. But if you really wanted Sudipta, yeah, if you want to email me, contact@AnfieldAgenda.com, we'll get that song sent over to you and you can get the MP3 of or whatever if you want to use it. Absolutely no bother, my man. It is catchy, isn't it? Like, you think initially you listen, oh, it's a bit cheesy, and it is. But that adds to the appeal for me a little bit because I find it really relaxing before I do a stream. Matt Schaub, thank you, bro. Said, thank you for being a great content creator this year for us all. Personal favourite of your streams this year after the deadline day when we tracked the plane from Porto. Varela, how about you? That was incredibly fun. It was, because we thought we were going to have a really quiet, dead end of the transfer window, and it came to nothing, but it's always fun when you're tracking the planes, looking to see if a deal can be done there. What was my favourite stream of the year? Do you know what? I don't know. I'd have to look back through them. It's been a mental year for us. We've had something like just under 40 million views in 2024 on the YouTube channel, which is absolutely insane to think about. So, yeah, I'm excited and, a little anxious to see what 2025 has in store for the club and, of course, for the channel. So, look, I did promise I'm going to put that new poll up, and I will now. I just need 130 more votes, so we're nearly there. Stevie Boy, how are you, bro? Said, I would have loved to have seen Stevie G and Mo in the same team. Oh, mate, can you imagine? Can you imagine Stevie G supplying ammunition in there behind? It would have been filth, quite frankly. Don't know another word to use, Stevie Boy, but filth seems appropriate. Klopp final game stream. That was an emotional one, though. It really was. So I'm really disappointed that we never got the Dublin farewell to Jurgen. In my mind, I almost felt like it was destiny for that Europa League final to include Liverpool in Dublin. Obviously, we didn't get to see it happen, but it ended up being the Ademola Lookman show, that final, didn't it? I mean, what a performance he put in to give Atalanta the trophy, and deservedly so as well. Jack Zapper said, thanks for everything, Craig. Enjoy listening whilst assembling the kids' presents and drinking mulled wine. P.S. All quiet on Saudi takeover. Is anything happening on that front? Of Liverpool? No. I don't believe FSG are up for selling. Now, I'm sure that there has been a relationship built there between the whole the golf stuff as well that FSG are involved in, and I think Liverpool opened an academy in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as well, but I've never really bought into the whole takeover talks, to be honest with you, Jack. And look, I hope you and the family have a wonderful Christmas, mate, and I remember those days of assembling all the presents. But thankfully now we've done all of ours already on Christmas Eve, because, you know, my kid's the youngest now, Lucas, is going to be 13 next month, and my daughter's 20, so yeah, we have a free run at tomorrow now, which is going to be class. Mary, how are you, my friend? Mary, do you know what? I still feel bad about the day that you thought maybe that I was not being appreciative enough for the people that came out in Belfast, and it stuck with me because I never want you to feel that way. Because I love Belfast so much as a city, and you know, I hope you know that if I get a chance to get back up there, I'll be there in a heartbeat. And thank you, a Merry Christmas to you and your family as well, Mary. Right, let's get the next poll up. I need 48 more votes. So really quickly, 48 people, click on that, and then we'll get the next poll up, which I am very interested to see. So the poll is going to be, who would you prefer Liverpool to sign, Isak or Marmoush? I think that one's going to give us an insight into where people's heads are at. And by the way, what do you think of the beard for the Christmas thumbnail tonight? I grew that overnight, that beard. That was genuine beard, that, not AI whatsoever. I decided to shave it off before the stream, though. I didn't think it would suit, you know, me with a big white beard here. It's probably the closest you're ever going to get to see me with a beard, considering I can't grow one. Nikki, member for 16 months with us. Thank you, Nikki. Said, Merry Christmas, Craig. Grateful for all you do. Look, I want to say this sincerely to all of you. Don't ever come in and say thank you to me, because you don't need to. This is, you know, as much a two-way street as I keep telling you it is. I should be thanking you guys for all you do for me. You know, I've got the easy job here. I'm a conduit between a bit of news and you guys in the chat, and we have fun together. But without you guys, without your interaction, without your kindness, without your support, there wouldn't be a channel. So, you know, please don't ever feel you need to thank me. You guys are awesome, and it's you guys that should be thanked. Right, there we go. We can end the poll. So 58% of you guys and girls are feeling a little bit confident that maybe tomorrow we will get a bit of a festive surprise on the contracts. I'm certainly hoping. I'm hoping for it. Right, let's get on to the big one, though. So I'm going to ask you, who would you prefer? Simple one, Isak or Marmoush? Right, vote away. And this, I'm genuinely really interested to see what you vote on, because I can sit here and say that you can make a very, 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 very good argument for both of those gents, and I don't think anybody could really push back on it with you. It's probably just a personal preference. So yeah, please do vote away. We're going to leave that one running in the background for a good while, and then we'll touch back on it. David Massett, Stevie G, Mo and Suarez, that would be scary. Oh mate, speaking of that, actually, David, do you know what always pissed me off? Do you remember when Torres went and then Suarez came in? We were supposed to have both of those. The plan was for Suarez and Torres to play together. Imagine that, even for one season. Oh, I don't think anybody could have stopped us. Honestly, I don't. If those two had to play together for a season, it doesn't matter how many we concede. I feel like we would have found a way to win every game. 9-8, 6-4. Doesn't matter. We'd have outscored anyone. King Winter Soldier said, Merry Christmas, Craig and crew and COP community. You'll never walk alone, peeps. Have a great Christmas. Same to you, sir, and your family as well. Appreciate you being in. And yeah, look, I think we're in for a great 2025 from a footballing perspective. I'm I'm really looking forward to seeing the knockout stages of the Champions League come around. But I have another question to you. I'm not going to put this in a poll, but I want to ask your question on this one. So it's a two-parter, so bear with me. So we've obviously got Spurs in the semi-final of the League Cup, and I think we'll beat Spurs over 2 legs. But I want to know, one, who would you like to play in the final? Arsenal or Newcastle if we were to get through? And also, number 2, who do you think is going to get through between Arsenal and Newcastle? I've gone back and forth on it. The second leg being at St. James's makes me think Newcastle might just do it. I think, yeah, I just have a feeling Newcastle might turn over Arsenal with the second leg being at St. James's. And I'd also prefer Newcastle in a final than Arsenal. So I'm going to go Newcastle and Newcastle. So I guess I need 2 words from you. The first one is, who would you like to play? And the second one is, who do you think's going to get through? So if you're giving me a 2-worded answer, first one, who you liked it. Second one, who you think's going through. So like Mahmoud there. Mahmoud said Newcastle and Arsenal. No, Saka, said the hopeful guy. Yeah, he could be out till March time, as you've said, mate. And that's going to be a big loss for Arsenal. You know, they've lost Odegaard at the start of the season, and you know, we've seen the impact that had. Saka, look, do you know what? One thing I'll give the media credit for on the Saka situation is I've seen a very consistent response to Saka being injured from the media, and it's the right one, which is that he's been simply played way too much by Mikel Arteta and run into the ground. So I don't think anybody was surprised when they heard that he picked up an injury, because he'd just been overplayed. Any Arsenal fan I've spoken to said the same thing. The kid's just been played way too much at this age, and I think it's going to have an impact on the rest of his career if they don't start using him a bit more sparingly. Chris, thank you, mate. Chris Grathwall, appreciate you, sir. 31 months as a member, Chris. That is so appreciated, mate. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. Gemma Johnson, same to you, my friend. You and your family as well. Merry Christmas to you. And thank you for your membership with us as well. Anfield Agenda Ultras, 4 months, Gemma. We love that. Thank you. Right, so Newcastle and Newcastle for Finster. LFC's gone Arsenal and Arsenal. Arsenal and Newcastle for Keane. Holly said Arsenal but would rather Newcastle. Turan said League Cup is a curse. I can get where you're coming from, but I just don't agree. But I do totally get where you're coming from, because in the 2 seasons we've won League Cups, we faltered when it came to the big one. So I totally understand where you're coming from. But I want it for Kelleher as well. I want Queeveen to have a hat-trick of League Cups. Angel said, I'd rather, if it comes to it, lose a trophy to Eddie Howe. Same. Because, do you know what I guarantee you would happen, right? If Arsenal won the League Cup and beat us in the final, and we won the Premier League, I promise you, there'll be Arsenal fans trying to say that's a, you know, an equal season. That Arteta deserves the credit there for winning the League Cup, and they try to put it on a par with Arne Slot winning the league. And you know I'm right. You know they would. Bernie, did I miss your super chat? Sorry, Bernie, I did. My apologies. I didn't get a comment in, Bernie, but there is your super chat up on screen, and my apologies for missing it. But a comment didn't come through with it, Bernie. It just came through as blank, but my apologies for not bringing it up on screen. So, Mark said that the Anfield Agenda song is on the membership page. So, if any of you are already members, you click onto the membership tab of the channel, and you probably have to do some scrolling, but it is on there. So, you can download it and get the link from there if you're a member with us. Right, where was I on? What was I talking about there? Where was I? I can't remember where I was going, so let's just move back. Oh, Arsenal, yeah, Arsenal being deluded. Do you know what? Most of you guys were probably with us last night, but we ran a poll based off a kind of something that just popped into my head over the past few days, which was, I think we now start talking about Mohamed Salah in the same bracket as Thierry Henry. And I went as far as to say, for me, he's maybe even just nudged ahead. But I asked the question last night, do you think Mohamed Salah belongs in the same bracket with the same conversation as Thierry Henry? 94% of you guys voted for that last night, and 94% said yes, he does belong in that conversation. I'd love to see that poll up on an Arsenal channel and see what their answer would be, because I don't think there's anything that Salah could do that would convince a lot of Arsenal fans he's better than Henry. But I kind of understand that, because I'd be the same about Gerrard. You know, you can throw your Vieiras, your Lampards, or whoever into the conversation. Nobody's ever getting me to admit that any of them are better than Steven Gerrard was. So I get it. This is one thing I wouldn't go too hard on Arsenal fans for. And also, Henry was a wonderful footballer when he wasn't cheating bastard handball and robbing us of World Cups. Oh, no, not that one. That was a different one. This one from Harrison said, random but still annoyed about Euro. Merry Christmas. Do you know, I kind of thought about that a little bit the other day, Harrison, when Euro was back in United's first team. And I don't know. I'm still annoyed about being lied to. That's the part that I guess I'd still be wound up about, Harrison, that we were always told if it wasn't going to be Real Madrid, we'd be in the mix for them, and then we weren't because, of course, we didn't want to pay the money. But I don't know how I feel about it now, because Konate has had such a great season that I know he has a knock, and Gomez has stepped up. But I still would have happily taken Lenny Yoro. So, yeah, I get where you're coming from totally. I haven't spoken about Muani yet, by the way. We're going to move on to speak about Muani in a second. Just have a few more comments to get through. Michael Byrne, how are you, sir? Arsenal fans laughed at us when Konate got injured, and they said they hope he's out for the rest of the season. Now Saka is injured and I don't care. So I have a really simple thing in life, and I say it to my wife all the time when she complains about somebody doing something or whatever. We can only take care of what we can do, Michael, you know, and I'd never wish or celebrate a player being injured. If Arsenal fans want to do that, you know, that's on them, but they did also celebrate Robbo's red card like they just won the league, which I thought was hilarious. But that, you know, I think a lot of us have seen a side of Arsenal fans in the past few months, maybe a year, that has surprised me, to be fair, because I thought they were far more decent than that. And I'm not trying to say everybody's the same, but there's enough of them on social media to know that they're like Everton on steroids. That's the way I look at it. They're like more bitter than I've seen some of the Evertonians. So let's get into speaking about this absolutely crazy thing that came out earlier on. Transfer Sector posted, they called it breaking, and they quote Florian Plettenberg on this one, and they say, breaking, Liverpool are especially interested in Randall Kolo Muani. The current goal is a loan until the end of the season. PSG is keen to incorporate a purchase option or obligation into any potential deal. So, thoughts on this? And by the way, I've noticed something that I don't like. I'm not trying to tell anybody to not work with betting companies or whatever, because I bet, I gamble. You know, I make a conscious decision these days not to work with betting companies on the channel because of feedback from everybody. But I've seen a lot of these Twitter accounts lately, a lot of them having bookies backing them and sponsoring posts and stuff. And it just doesn't sit right with me, because I know they're being aimed at younger people. And I wanted to get your take on it anyway. But anyway, moving on from that. Muani, what are we saying? It makes no sense to me. None whatsoever. David said, we don't come down to Arsenal's level. Yes, exactly, mate. Exactly. We do what we do, which is show a bit of class and dignity. And I would never celebrate a player getting injured. But also, I don't want to hear the cry arson about it. That's the part, you know, to be balanced out here. I don't want to hear them moaning about it, using it as an excuse, because everybody gets injuries. And I'm sure we'll have some in the second half of the season that will worry us. But, yeah. You can't win the Carabao Cup with kids, or can you? Yeah, you can, Eno. Yeah, you can, Ian. We did it last year. So, Muani doesn't even start for PSG, said the hopeful guy. No wonder, he's crap, said RB. Naturalist said everybody's linked with us. What's really surprising to me, though, was the sheer amount of forwards that we're being linked to. We've been linked to an absolutely astonishing amount of attacking midfielders and forwards in the last few weeks, which makes zero sense to me. Ibu made a post on Instagram about not being like them. Yes, I'd seen that post. Somebody screenshotted it and sent it to me, excuse me. And he's right. He's absolutely spot on, Ibu, as he was normally is. To be fair, he's a good lad. Please, can we not get involved in Kolo or Dembele? I cannot get behind those kind of players. Just not Liverpool suited. I agree. For me, that Kolo Muani story belongs here. That's where I think it belongs. But, you know, Plettenberg gets away with a lot, by the way, doesn't he? He gets away with a lot of absolutely stinking links. Like, waffle. I don't know how anybody even quotes him at this point. You know, I don't remember the ones he gets right. But I know about 90% of the ones that I see are horseshit. Wilfred Long, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, bro. Appreciate you. Mikael Baxter. So thank you for doing what you do, Craig. I'm newly homeless and your videos are really helping me keep my spirits up. Mate, that's... You know, unfortunately, it's becoming more and more common these days. I've had some friends who've been couch surfing and stuff as well, with families moving back in with parents and stuff. I'll always try to keep your spirits up, my man. But that's really, really difficult for you. I hope you're okay. I hope you're safe, most importantly. Yeah, heartbreaking, man. Sending you love. Not that it's much use to you, I know. But God, man, that's difficult. You're over in the States, I noticed as well. I said something about this the other day. Like when I was growing up, and I'm 43 now. So when I was growing up, we had these things called Trocra boxes that we used to get in school, and we'd bring home, and you'd put all your spare change in them, and then you go into the school with them, and the Trocra boxes would be sent off to Trocra, and then all the money be sent over to Africa to help with famines and stuff like that. And I remember as a kid feeling really guilty about the life that I had as a, you know, and I grew up in a working class household, but always had food, always had everything we needed, you know, life was okay. And I remember feeling really guilty about it. And now in this day and age, you're seeing ads for food banks and multi-banks and in our own countries, in the Western world. And it makes me feel so angry at those that have allowed this situation to develop for people, where even people working are working poor. The gap is just it's shit. And I do think that, you know, I don't like to use the word revolution because that's absolutely over the top, but I feel like there's going to be a reckoning at some point that people are going to stand up because, you know, let's give you an example, right, of something that I've seen on the news. So they said that Elon Musk has donated about 25 million or something so far into politics. And he's gotten about 250 or 25, it was either 25 billion or 250 billion in tax breaks and government contracts and stuff like that. And I just think to myself, why are all these huge multinational companies being subsidized? It just disgusts me when the rest of the world is struggling to get by, and we've got these people who are just insanely wealthy. Sorry, it's a bit of a mad one there on Christmas Eve, I know, but at this time of the year, it really does get to me, the inequality in the world. Ian said, I'm loving the camaraderie of our players post-Klopp. We have the nicest characters, lots of charisma too. Yeah, we've a good group. We do. We've a very good group at the club. You know, you look at that, and then you look at maybe the destabilisation in the United dressing room again, where you know, the Rashford situation's nuts. Whoever is in charge of Marcus Rashford's PR needs to be fired, because I've no doubt Rashford's a good lad, no doubt in my mind whatsoever. But some of the decisions that have been made around his PR and going in on people on social media when they've posted anything critical, I feel like sometimes these people need to realise that they aren't above criticism. They aren't above being called out for a shit performance. You don't get just the good side of celebrity and fame, which is the money, the adulation, the freebies, the access. Fans have a right to call you out if you're partying in nightclubs and not showing up for training, or you're playing shit after signing a big contract. So I've always felt whoever's doing his PR needs a kick in the backside, because they're terrible and they've put him in another really awkward position. Stratton said Elon Musk paid the most tax ever for one person in America. I don't get what that has to do with what I said, though. You know, billions and billions and billions of subsidies. Billions. You know, and I'm not having a dig at Elon Musk, by the way. I don't, you know, he's just one of the first people that came to mind. I'm sure there are many, many others. And what Elon Musk has done has changed the world. There's no denying that. Between Tesla, SpaceX, an incredibly intelligent man. I'm not trying to say in any way, shape or form he's a bad person or anything. You know, I'm not here to speak about good and bad. I'm just saying financially, when we've so much inequality in the world, it just disturbs me a bit that we see so much. Merry Christmas from the Rebel County. Hope you have a good one. Thank you, mate. Right back to you as well. Will I be satisfied with no signings in January, even if we keep winning? No. And thank you for bringing that up, by the way, AJ, because it's a point that I think needs making. Here's the way I look at this. We need to make a signing in January. End of conversation. And if we don't make a signing in January and we still keep winning, that's great. That's what we want. But I think it will be because we got lucky, rather than, not the winning, I mean, with injuries or whatever. I think we need to do what we need to do, which is bring in a midfielder. We've needed to do it for 3 or 4 windows now, and it still needs to be done. And I think that if we were to go and keep winning stuff, it would be in spite of the cheapness of the owners and not because of any master plan or anything like that. You know, we have a great group. There's no denying that. And I don't think we need massive surgery on the squad or anything like that. But we shit the bed in the summer with the situation in midfield, and we've been very fortunate that Gravenberch has stepped up and done as well as he has, and Arna has been lucky that Gravenberch's been available and fit and stuff, but you know, we still do need that position filled for me. So that's it. Others may want more in January, but I've been honest all the way through and said I wouldn't mind some more signings, but if we got the midfielder, I'm not going to complain. That's what I'm looking for in this market. Ian Briggs said Manchester is imploding. Funny as fuck, not gloating. No, it is funny though. You're right, Ian. It is. The whole thing, like from the mice infestation to the leak in the press conference, like in the ceiling, I mean. Then the whole Rashford situation. And do you know what makes me laugh the most, actually, around that whole United situation? It's Gary Neville. Once again, coming out with his whole, we need a big cultural revolution at Manchester United. How many times does he come out with nonsense? In the summer, I don't remember the cultural revolution being needed at United when he was predicting them to finish ahead of us, saying they had a better midfield than us. He is the most flip-floppy pundit I've ever seen. And it's like they have this vision of when they were at United, this utopia of a club, and they think that they can get back to that in some way, shape or form. They won't. It's impossible. That magic that was captured in the class of 92 and all that other stuff was a once-off thing. It was a generational thing, not going to happen again. But every time Neville thinks he has the solution, it's always Neville and his ego that thinks he has the solution. And yet look at his own club that he owns. Many managers and that have they gone through? What about a cultural revolution at Salford, Gary? Would you not maybe be a bit more focused on that one rather than the club that you don't own? And honestly, I didn't think I'd get to the point this year where I actually despised Neville's voice. But that's where I'm at. Because I think we're being so oversaturated with Gary Neville and Carragher to an extent as well that it's becoming boring. Zevon said, I hate how Amarim speaks like he's not in charge of United. I wonder if he's been surprised at quite how poor things are there since he's gone in. Because I'm not going to revisit and say I don't think he's a good coach. I do. I think he's a very good coach. But whatever is going wrong there at United, it doesn't seem like Radcliffe's going to be the guy to turn that round by saving money, because that's all he seems to want to do. Shane said, Nullig Shunna Juv. Have a great day tomorrow, Craig. Thank you. Same to you, sir. A little bit of Irish there for you guys from Shane, who's also a United fan, by the way. Finster said, Neville is just biased, Craig. He knows football, but just can't take the Red Devil glasses off. Yeah, so for me, though, I'm not talking about him not saying Liverpool are good enough or whatever. I expect that from Neville. But what I'm talking about is he always thinks he has an answer to the problem. And it's always something that's very of the moment. So now that there's a bit of talk about that dressing room, it's all, cultural revolution at United. Cultural revolution. There is no one answer for United. It's going to take time, patience, and to be fair to the United fan base, I think they are a relatively patient fan base. I will give them that. They've stuck behind some of this dross they've been watching on managers over the last few years and not being too toxic at times. But I'm just sick of Neville thinking he has all the fucking answers to everything. Shannon said, Craig, has David Lynch given you encouragement that we'll sign someone in January? How to answer that one? He agrees with me that we need to sign somebody in January. I mean, that's probably the fairest way I can answer it, because I can say he has neither given me encouragement or not given me encouragement around January. But we have had conversations off air, and we both agree a midfielder is needed in January. And we both agree that we can't wait until the summer. At least in our recent conversation, we were saying this. Monkstown Glass, thank you, sir, for gifting 10 Anfield Agenda memberships. Absolutely so kind of you, mate. Thank you so much. Right, let's check in on our poll, shall we? Oh, wow. This one is close. 51% to 49%. So if you haven't voted, do. We asked, who would you prefer, Isak or Marmoush? And it is very, very close. Nimnoy, Promanik, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. I know you've been a regular viewer of the channel for a long time, mate. Welcome back into the membership. AJ24 said, by the way, despite being in good form, are you a bit concerned about our defending? Of course. I think if I was to sit here, mate, and say to you, conceding 8 goals in the last 3 league games hasn't concerned me, I think I'd be wrong. And I'd be lying to you. Yeah, of course, it concerns me. Because I don't want us to get back to the times where we feel like we have to score 4 to win a game. I very much enjoyed the start of the season and the clean sheets and the winning by a couple of goals. It was comforting. So yes, we do need to get back to that. But I'm trying to figure out what's causing it. Because I don't think it's as simple as Konate not being there and Gomez coming in. I think that would be unfair to Joe Gomez. So I'm more thinking it's the fullback positions that are maybe after causing us some headaches. Particularly the left-hand side, where I think we've got 2 players who are 6.5 out of 10s this season, when we're used to an 8 out of 10 on that left-hand side. So yeah, I think it's certainly a concern. I think that's a fair point. Yusuf said, Craig, imagine in January if we sign Kirkez and Zubamendi. Yeah, it'd be great. I still, for me, I think we can wait till the summer for a left back, but I wouldn't say no if we were to go get one. I think, I wouldn't be complaining. The Zubamendi thing, I'm almost past it at this point, to be honest with you. Between him saying it was an easy decision to stay there, the sporting director of Sociedad yesterday saying that he doesn't expect any January surprises or anybody to come in and trigger that release clause. I just think that ship has sailed, if I'm being honest with you. Now, I don't know this to be a fact. I don't. I'm just giving you my opinion based off, my own looking at the situation, reading it. And we did speak about a new link yesterday, which I'll go back over in a second, which, having done a little bit of research, has excited me a little bit, to be honest. Crimbo Slot, thank you, bro, for the super sticker. I can't bring up super stickers on screen the same way I can in super chats, but just want to say thank you to you, mate. So, late last night, we put out a video at the end of the stream, and the video's done incredibly well, by the way. It's had over 50,000 views, which is mad for such a late night video. But a story came out from Anfield Watch last night that said, transfer news, Liverpool scouts have been completely blown away by the performances of Porto midfielder Nico Gonzalez. And that, I think, would be a doable deal. Going to Portugal would be, if Liverpool are serious about him. Because we need to have a conversation around alternatives if Zubamendi hasn't done a U-turn or isn't achievable, because I don't think we can wait till the summer. One, I wouldn't trust Zubamendi waiting that long. I wouldn't trust that he wouldn't change his mind again. And two, I don't want us to falter this season because we hadn't got that midfielder in. So January is the time for me to get whoever it's going to be, whether that be Nico Gonzalez, whether that be Martin Zubamendi, whether that be Baleba, whether that be Samuel Ricci or anybody else. I want it done in January. Zubi won't like on the bench all the time behind Gravenberch. You see, I think you're looking at it too simplistically, Ian, personally. I don't think it would be a case of he only plays when Gravenberch doesn't play. I think it might be a case of it'll just give Arne Slot another variation of his midfield, that he could play two of them together with the Szoboszlai ahead, or maybe push McAllister a bit further forward. And also, look, there would be the rotational aspect of it as well, but yeah, I don't think it would be a case of you're on the bench if Gravenberch's playing. I think you can find ways to get both of them on a pitch, particularly in difficult away trips. Charlie said, I don't want Zubamendi after his interview. Me, I'm the same. I am the same, and that is petty, but I'm a petty guy at times, and yeah, that interview was the kind of straw that broke the camel's back for me, and I would move on at this point. What did he say? I'll read it back out for you in a second, mate. I'll find the story and I'll read it back out for you in 1 second. JFT97 Toronto said, Happy Christmas from Toronto. Really enjoyed the channel this year. Looking forward to your content in 2025 and have an amazing Christmas. Same to you, mate. Thank you. And I'd love to get a little visit over to Canada in 2025 for a show. South Africa hasn't stepped up, by the way. South Africa, I've been saying to you for a long time, find me the venue. We'll do the show. And if I don't hear back from our end of season show venue soon, I'm going to have to start looking at a new venue, because I want to get that booked in early for our end of season party. But yeah, South Africa, I keep asking you to show me a venue and nobody stepped up yet, so maybe it'll be Toronto. Chris said, Merry Slotmas Craig. Thank you. Same to you, mate. So, I promised I'd find that story for you with the quotes from Zubamendi. 1 second. So he said, this is a quote from Zubamendi. Now, it is a longer quote, but this is, I guess, the part that we're interested in. He said, I looked at my personal progression, who I am, and the club's project. I stayed because I knew this season would be important for me in the team, and I still had steps to take. It wasn't that hard of a decision. There were many reasons for my decision, but I was selfish and thought about what was best for me, and that was staying. That was, to me, closure. No more, thank you. That's enough for me. I'd move on from that now. Yeah, because it doesn't sound to me like he's leaving a door open there or having any regrets. And I know he would have to say these type of things to the Sociedad fan base and stuff, but still, I would move on now. Hunter said Liverpool will make no signings in the January transfer window. Well, if I don't start to see credible stuff coming out quickly, the Where's the Money John videos will be coming out pretty quickly. I won't lie to you, because they've had long enough now to look at the lay of the land, find a target, and get this ready for an early January move. So, yeah, between that and the players' contracts, if these things aren't sorted out soon, I think Liverpool fans are right to be asking what's going on at the club. You know, if the contracts aren't all boxed off, and look, let's wait and see what happens there, and we haven't got signings lined up, what have they all been doing? Because I'd love a job where I don't have to actually produce anything. Nimnoy, thank you, mate. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well, bud. And Charlie, all I want for Christmas is you and a cookie pie. I'm about to tuck into some of that cookie pie later on, mate. I couldn't bring myself to cut it open last night because it just looked too beautiful, and I didn't want to disturb it. But what a cookie pie image that is. It's so good, honestly. Kyle said, thank you for all the content this year. Happy Christmas to you and your family. Do you think the contracts get tied up before New Year? I don't know. I hope so. I genuinely hope that Mo and Virgil are done already, and that we're going to get that announcement. And I'm not going to revisit what I said previously. I think if we allow this to get into January without them being boxed off, it's very, very, very risky for us. Because you're taking players at their word and you're hoping, but ultimately we know January the 1st that any club outside the Premier League can talk as much as they want with Virgil, with Mo and with Trent, and there's nothing Liverpool can do about it. They could sign pre-contracts, and it kind of goes out of our hands a little bit more. So we've had long enough to get this boxed off, and I don't know why it would take this long. So yeah, I don't think we can wait. I want it done now. I don't want this dragging into February, March, April. I don't even want it going past January, to be honest. It's an unnecessary risk for me. And also, if Trent doesn't make his mind up by then, I think you've almost got an answer. Because at this point, he should at the very least know whether he wants to stay or not. And then you can get into the nitty-gritty, of course, of the numbers and the finances. They will obviously be impressed with Gonzalez because he played for Barca, said Haryan. Sub-target for next year. The only sub-target I have is 300k, and that is, I'm hoping to get there by the end of January, but it will require a big push. But yeah, that's the only target. After that, I don't know. Don't think too far ahead. No idea what happens, but that's the target. Get to 300k and see what happens. I can't believe you're not dressed like Santa. I kind of am. I'm in red. Jamin said, if FSG haven't sorted the contract to sign somebody February the 1st, questions have to be asked. I mean, you're more patient than me, to be honest, because January the 1st has always been my kind of timeline in my own head, because I don't like the idea of these lads being able to speak openly or sign. Like, they wouldn't even have to tell Liverpool they did it, to the best of my understanding. So let's say January the 1st, Virgil signs for Dortmund, let's say. I don't think he even has to inform Liverpool of it. I think he's free to negotiate from that point. Yeah, it's worrying, and it's an unnecessary risk, so hence why I keep saying I'd like it to be done before the 1st of January. What did you get the missus and the kids? So, I bought my daughter a new bed. I gave her 500 quid. I got her some clothes, some runners, some pyjamas, some makeup. Lucas, I gave some cash to. We gave him, he wanted a MetaQuest, so he got the higher spec MetaQuest. He got a little drone, a battery pack for the MetaQuest, and a few other bits and bobs. The missus, we don't do the Christmas gifts thing to each other. We we just look after the kids, and we try and squeeze in a holiday or something during the year. So and we've got our new car in January, so that, you know, we're saving to make sure we've got as much money put away for those repayments and stuff in the future, and for the mortgage, of course, if we're looking to buy the house. Lawrence Taylor, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, mate. Appreciate you. And by the way, I just want to make something else really clear as well. I don't buy the kids anything. We do. Me and Sabrina are a team. You know, this isn't my earnings, and, you know, this is the family money. That's the way we work our household, you know. Whatever we all make, me or Sabrina, we throw it into a pot and that's it, you know. It's not my money or her money, it's our money. So, yeah. You know, a bit weird, I know, but what car are you getting? We're getting a Renault Raphael, the Alpine version. I'll show you it again. That's it there. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. So that's the car we're getting. Exact same as that. Same spec, same colour, same everything. Yeah, that's the one. And yeah, really excited. Really nervous about it because, you know, committing to something that expensive is scary. But this is, I guess, why you work. Work hard. But yeah, this will be our 4th Renault in a row. The first new car we ever had is the one that we have at the minute. But yeah, this will be our 2nd ever new car. And look, there's a reason it's blue. Again, I explained this the other day. The reason it's blue is because you can only get that blue in the highest spec of the car. You have to get the Alpine version to get that. And trust me, when you see that blue in person, it is amazing. And also, blue is Lucas's favourite colour. So if my little dude wants a blue, and that's his favourite colour, then Daddy's getting a blue car. So there you go. Trexbell Bosson said, very close poll. Marmoush along Salah for a year or two would be great. Could very well be our future, young and promising. Oshin said, Isak is cool, but I want a madman. There you go. I love a Maverick as well, mate. I'm with you on that one. So we've now had the poll up long enough that I feel like I can give you my answer on this one. I would take Marmoush for the reason that most of you have doubts around Isak, which is the injuries. I don't want another situation where we have Diogo Jota 2.0, where it's a player that nobody doubts he's good enough, but you do have concerns about the durability of the player. So that's why I would go with Marmoush. We looked at Marmoush's injury record, and it's astonishingly good. Like, the dude has missed next to no football. And when he has, it's been like COVID or an illness. And I think he had one injury 4 years ago or something. He looks bulletproof. So that's why I personally will go for Marmoush. Don't lie, Craig. You're getting a blue car because you're a massive Everton fan. Oh, no, I told you. It's a flex. The blue is a flex. Because there's about $6,000 difference between the Alpine version of the car and the normal version of the car. So if you have the Alpine, if you have the car in blue, people know damn well that you've got the top spec one. That's why we went for the blue. That, and we've just had a black car. My wife didn't want another black one, and Lucas' favourite colour is blue. So there you go. It's mainly a flex, though. I'll be honest with you, it is. Not the car, I mean, the colour part. The car, yeah. Cars are robbery these days, by the way. Let me say that. What's your favourite movie of all time? I don't have a favourite movie because I have favourite movies for different things, if that makes sense to you. So I've got favourite comedy movies. I'll have favourite documentaries. Favourite gangster movies, because I love gangster movies. But if I had to pick one, it's probably A Bronx Tale. I said this to you guys before. Robert De Niro plays basically a bus driver whose son is starting to, young son, starting to hang around with mobsters and whatnot. It's a real moral tale between, you know, working hard and honestly and, you know, going into that gangster underworld. And it's a film that really resonated with me when I seen it. And then I found out that I think it's the first film Robert De Niro directed. And it's just a brilliant, brilliant film. Phoenix said Omar's price tag too. Yeah, that certainly makes a difference too, because what you're looking at around probably 60 for Isak, with Marmoush then in pounds sterling probably the low 40s. So yeah, that would be a good point as well. Shawshank Redemption and Twango is a belter of a film. Absolutely brilliant. AJ said the same fans criticised Salah last couple of years because of a bad spell. Well, I criticised them. But let me ask you this, AJ, right? Do you not think that every football player deserves to be called out if they're having a bad spell? Now, I'm not talking about toxic stuff, but I think it's perfectly within any fan's rights, if it's over a few months, to ask what's causing this and to speak out about it and to say, has he fallen off a bit? Because I won't lie, I have spoken about a period where I thought Mo was dropping off and I was concerned. And I don't think I'm the only one. I think there were many people with it. Now, of course, it's how you go about these things. And the one regret I do have was that United game where I said he can F off the Saudi. You know, that was just me heat of the moment stuff. But I don't think anybody should be beyond reproach to fans. Because if you're not seeing what you know someone's capable of over a prolonged period of time, I think you've every right to ask why. And what's causing it. Is it a drop-off? Is it father time if there's an age question to come into it? Same with the likes of Jones. Anybody who now comes in and goes, oh, well, you all wrote Jones off before. Well, yeah, but so did everybody else. People are very revisionist in their opinions and like to make out like they weren't one of these people, when I think a lot of the time 99% of the fan base thinks the same way about a particular player or situation. But it doesn't mean you have to feel that way all the time. For me, football's peaks and troughs. There's a lot of praise goes on players, and rightly so. But I also think fans deserve to call out a player if they're not performing well. And what I mean by call out is say they're not performing well. So let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a bit of a boxing example, right? So I sat here last night after I finished all my work and I was watching an IFL video, and it was Gareth A. Davies, a boxing journalist, being interviewed, and Johnny Fisher's dad came into the video. And basically, Johnny Fisher's dad went in on Gareth A. Davies a little bit because he felt like Gareth was disrespectful about the result of the fight. And it kind of got me to think, we're now in a world where saying what actually happened and not towing the narrative that people want you to is looked upon as a bad thing. Because every single person that watched the Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen fight knows that Dave Allen won the fight. Everyone. So for journalists to say this and then be lumped in on because they're saying what we all seen, I think we need to stop this shit. We need to stop listening to the Tyson Furies of this world and other people who just want everyone to agree with them all the time, because it's bullshit. If you can't say what you're seeing or call out a poor result or say that a fighter won a fight when they didn't, we're in a rocky place. So that's why I will always speak my mind, because I feel like it's my moral duty to do it. Now, I'm not saying I'm right all the time, but I will never toe a company line or a narrative to get myself more opportunities or to blow smoke up somebody's arse. I think that's a dangerous road to go down, and I've seen it too many times with journalists now, fan content. It needs to stop. We need to be able to say what we've seen. Stephen L said Marmoush Mo would play in an African Cup of Nations. They would, but you don't not, in my opinion, Stephen, you don't not sign somebody for 1 month every few years. You know, you know, you can talk about the Club World Cup as well now. So if our own players ever play in the next Club World Cup in 4 years' time or whatever, that's end of season thing. You've also seen clubs like United, I think, are going to Malaysia at the end of the season. So I wouldn't hold it against them, to be honest, as a reason not to sign somebody. It certainly has to be a consideration when you look at your fixtures and stuff, but I wouldn't back out of signing somebody because of that personally. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Same to you as well. TOTT2KZ1. Much love to you, my man. And looking forward to your wedding. Oshin. said Marmoush and Zubamendi in January would be awesome. It'd be an amazing January, but I truly just don't expect Marmoush to go anywhere till the summer. And I think Zubamendi's done in my own mind. I don't think we're going to see Zubamendi at Liverpool. What's this one? Praising after criticising is humility and integrity. Yeah, I think you're being honest. If someone's playing poorly, say they're playing poorly, but if they turn it round, give them that credit and say that they're playing well. Arthur said, hope you dress as a thumbnail. Happy holidays. No, you never get me in a Santa costume, dude. Never. Right, this poll, lads, it's deadlocked. 50-50. So if you haven't voted yet, this is really close. So we said, who would you prefer, Alexander Isak or Omar Marmoush? And it is deadlocked, 50% each. Wow. Close poll, this one. We're going to keep it running right till the very end of the stream. So we've half an hour left in the stream. We'll see if somebody can eke ahead there. Paul Vowell said, Dominic Szoboszlai's display on Sunday was the best since he signed. Yeah, I agree. I think, speaking with David Lynch, he agreed that exactly the same thing, mate. It was an outstanding performance from Szoboszlai. And his goal, I absolutely love, Paul, because he started it and finished it. So Trent played a hopeful punt forward, if you remember it, because he was under a little bit of pressure and he had his back and turned it round on his left foot and pumped the ball forward. Szoboszlai then runs and wins the header to flick it on to Mo, but doesn't stand there and look at his work. He turns around and makes a beeline for the penalty area. And also, Salah was very clever, because the easy pass was out to the left, but it would have taken us further away from goal. So he then reverses it back into Dom, who made that run, had one touch and a finish. It was a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. Arthur Smith, thoughts on Porto's Nico as a holding midfield signing? So I'm only playing catch up on him as a player, but the few bits and pieces I've seen over the last 24 hours, yeah, I can see why. But these things always make players look at their best when you're watching the highlights packages and stuff. But do you know what I haven't seen, Arthur? And correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen a number mentioned anywhere around that Nico Gonzalez potential signing. Oshin said, fair enough, but if Zubamendi wants to go to a big club, and we are, Zuba should come here. I agree, but I just don't think that we can run the risk of waiting until the summer, because anything could happen then. As I've said before, what if Real Madrid bring in Xavi Alonso and Alonso wants to bring in Zubamendi? I mean, I think that would probably cause us headaches as well. So that's, for me, it would be January or nothing for Zubamendi. Kevin, Merry Christmas to you over in Adelaide as well, bro. Thank you, Kevin Hankin. Appreciate you. Thoughts on Dom playing as a 9? No, thank you. I don't like this whole false 9 business. He can do it, you know, and especially when you've got somebody there. Who asked me the question? Vinu. When you've got somebody there like Diaz as well, who can pull deeper and make space, I think you can see Dom getting in behind. So one of the things that I kept paying attention to with Diaz playing against Spurs was that he was moving everywhere. He wasn't just sitting in the centre forward position. He was pulling deep. He was moving left, moving right. And when he does pull deep like that, if a defender goes with him, then it leaves that space in behind for either a late run from midfield, from like a Szoboszlai or Salah or Gakpo to tuck in. It can work very well, but I think you almost have to have two lads in tandem doing it. And I'd rather we just had a normal centre forward. Isak injury prone myth is annoying. Is it? Is it a myth? I don't know. I feel like I've seen Isak injured a fair bit at Newcastle, to be honest with you, but I don't have the cold hard fast numbers in front of me. But maybe somebody can, Mark, if you're there, can you grab me his injury record or something, and I'll bring it up. Well, I'll have a look at it, but I have to say I can remember a fair few injuries for him at Newcastle and games that he's missed. Jesus, Brian. I don't know why that's broken. So my chat is broken, Brian. I'm going to see if I can get the second system up. Just as you put that in, mate, it broke. So bear with me. I'm hoping that the old chat still works, Brian. 1 second. There it is. Brian has just gifted a $500 super chat. Said, happy holidays to you, Connor, and your beautiful family. Mate, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. That's just incredibly generous, mate. And same to you and your good lady wife. As I said to you earlier on by message, hopefully we get a chance to catch up with each other properly and have dinner together in 2025. Hopefully at a Liverpool game, Brian. But man, that's so generous of you, mate. Thank you. Astonished, mate. Just astonished. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely. I love that. I still feel really bad about missing out on the Vegas trip, Brian, but hopefully we can have a nice meal or a trip somewhere between now and 2025 ends. Ali Nusa, Brian is the best supporter of this channel, with all my respect for others. Look, Brian, I've really loved getting to know Brian. This stuff aside, just getting to know him, the man, has been so much fun over the last few years. You know, I've been lucky enough to have dinner with Brian and his brother and my wife. When he was over, Brian came all the way over for our first ever live show in Dublin as well. And he's just a family friend at this point more than anything else. He's just we've had such similarities in our lives that it's frightening at times. But yeah, Brian's like a big brother to me, and I certainly would be lost without his advice on a lot of stuff, because I don't have many people I feel comfortable bouncing stuff off. But Brian's always there for me if I have a question on the business or anything like that, and it always means a lot. Is that one coming up? Hopefully this one comes up. There we go. You know, doesn't matter, because we'll always pull a savage player. Feck the non-believers. No one thought we would get Salah after Suarez. Yeah, look, this club has been probably one of the best in the world, mate, at developing players into superstars. Replacing huge players with the next superstar. Torres went, Suarez came in. Suarez left, Salah came in. Yeah, you're right. We are a good club at that. We are, but I don't want Salah going anywhere. Let me say that. Sean Solutions, mate. You didn't put in a comment, but thank you nonetheless, mate. Appreciate you. I feel like I should be just leaving this one on display for a while, by the way. So I'm gonna leave that one up on display till I need to bring it down for another one or whatever, another chat from somebody, because I feel like it deserves to be up there. I've seen this on Twitter recently, and I want to ask you, is Suarez a club legend? No, not for me. And I say this as an absolutely massive Suarez fanboy. I idolise Suarez. Yeah, like, I don't think there's very few players I've been in love with as much as I was Luis Suarez. But no, the antics, not a club legend for me. No, didn't achieve enough at the club, didn't stay long enough. The whole Arsenal stuff and all kind of left a bit of a sour taste. So I would say no to being a club legend, but just an incredible, incredible footballer. Okay, Mark has sent me the Isak injury list, so let's have a look at it, and then we can see if it is... Oh, you can't comment, Sean Solutions. I didn't know that, mate. I'm learning a lot here. You said you can't leave £1, you can't leave a comment. I didn't know that. Genuinely, I'm learning stuff here, bro. But look, either way, thank you for being with us, mate, and supporting the channel. Right, so, Isak, let's have a look at his injury record. Right, let's have a look. So at Newcastle, just at Newcastle, he's missed 27, 31, 38 games at Newcastle since 22-23, which is a league season's worth of games. So again, I don't think it's a lie that he's got a track record of injuries. You know, one of these injuries here, he missed 106 days, another one 30 days, then 24 days, then 33 days. So I think it's very fair to say that he's had injuries. And even before that, go back earlier on in his career, you know, injuries there as well, but nowhere near as many games missed. It's gotten a lot worse since he went to Newcastle. So 27, 31, 38 games missed alone for Newcastle. So I think we can say that, you know, that is injury prone. You know, I think that's fair to say it's injury prone. So yeah, thank you, Mark, for sending that on. 38 games, that's a whole league campaign's worth of games missed since 22-23. Foxy, same to you. Leanna and the kids, mate. Have a happy Christmas. Oshin, let me bring this one up. Said Suarez under Klopp. It would have been amazing. Yeah, but you know, I often look back and think what would have happened if X or Y came in or happened. But lads, this poll is still 50-50. We've had 1,850 votes, and we still can't separate who you guys would prefer between Alexander Isak and Omar Marmoush. That's crazy. So keep voting away. We do need to find an answer. So I'm going to recap everything for people who maybe came in a little bit late, or you now on Shorts Lives as well now, Craig. I don't know what you mean by Shorts Lives. I don't know where you're going with that, mate. I don't know what you mean, sorry. The only live content I do is on YouTube here with you guys. No other platforms, no other, you know. Yeah, this is it. This is my only social media. Right, so let's go back through all the news. So we started off by congratulating Mohamed Salah for moving joint 10th on the all-time assists charts in the Premier League. He's joined number 10 now with David Beckham on 80 assists. So congratulations to Mo on that one. Then we spoke about a story in the Daily Mirror that I don't know where they've pulled this one from, but it said Liverpool boss Arne Slot has been dealt a blow to his hopes of signing Christian Pulisic, with AC Milan set to hand the American a new contract. When were we in for, you know, as we said earlier on, this is definitely going here. When were we in for Christian Pulisic under Arne Slot? One, we don't need a wide player. Two, he's very much doing well over in Milan, and I think the league suits Christian Pulisic. So yeah, that one belongs on Bullshit Island for me. Then there was the thing from the Mail that said sources told Newcastle Confidential in October that Alexander Isak's camp would seek a move away if Newcastle do not qualify for the Champions League, with Arsenal having declared an interest. Then I spoke about John Aldridge's piece in the Echo, his column, where he said he'd love Liverpool to go and get Alexander Isak as well, and he thinks a centre forward would be a position he'd like to see us strengthen in January. Then we moved on to, actually I haven't brought this one up yet, another former Liverpool player. This time it is Danny Murphy, said, my gut feeling is Trent Alexander-Arnold will leave, but Liverpool can sign perfect replacement. So yeah, he thinks that Trent may leave the club as well. I think Kara's hinted towards the same. I don't know myself, but yeah, I hope Trent realises that he's at the right place, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. Then we spoke about the fact that Bruno Fernandes offered to replace all of the FA Cup final things that Jim Ratcliffe took away, the little perks that he took away. Bruno Fernandes offered to pay for all of that, but Ineos said no, according to The Athletic, because it would look bad on Ineos. They're such miserable clowns, it's embarrassing. Then there was a story that said Atalanta manager Gian Piero Gasparini is said to be convinced that midfielder Charles de Ketelaere will be playing for Liverpool or Real Madrid within the next 2 years. So I think this is just him using us and Real Madrid as two massive clubs to say he thinks the Catalan will be at the top level in the next few years. I don't think he necessarily thinks we're coming in from. That's my reading of it anyway. And then the most crazy of stories of the day came from Florian Plettenberg, and Transfer Sector posted this to say, breaking, Liverpool are especially interested in Randall Kolo Muani. The current goal is a loan until the end of the season, and Paris Saint-Germain is keen to incorporate a purchase option or an obligation to buy in any potential deal. And everybody I'd seen in the chat said no, no, no to Muani and Liverpool. And I agree. I wouldn't think it makes any sense. Especially if you can't make it a PSG and you're not breaking into that team on a regular basis. I don't see you're going to do that at Liverpool. So it would be a no for me on Muani. Don't know what happened there, but my chat disappeared for a second. So I've had to refresh it, so bear with me. If you lose me for a second, you'll just have to refresh me for 1 sec, because I had to refresh the stream. Right. So we're now got a winner in the poll, so I'm going to end it. After 1,900 votes, there is 1% difference, and you think that Omar Marmoush is the guy. It said 51-49. This is now saying 50-49 because it always takes off 1%. But yes, you guys would slightly, just slightly, prefer Marmoush over Isak. It is a difficult one though. Oshin, thank you mate for your super chat. Said, is Haaland Origi crossed with Jota? I don't know what he is, but I'll tell you what he is at the moment, Oshin, is missing in action, bro. Because he is not delivering for Manchester City there at the minute, is he? AJ said, we don't need another forward. We have Chiesa who can't even feature on the bench. I agree. I think the only reason we need a forward is if we sell a forward. So I just never understood these links to Muani or Pulisic or any other player that we've been linked to until we know what the club are doing with Darwin. But for me, Marmoush is the one I'd go for in the summer as well. Particularly after the confirmation there of Isak's injury record. When Bruno looks like a saint, you know you have problems, said Antoango. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. Ash Forever LFC said, Marmoush is slightly more versatile and a much cheaper option. I think Marmoush is more of a Liverpool player, to be honest with you. Isak's a great player who'll score goals wherever he is. But Omar Marmoush and his versatility, I feel, will just lend itself better to Liverpool. You know, the ability to play anywhere across that front line, which, to be fair to Isak, he can play in a couple of positions as well. But I just think Marmoush, the Egyptian hookup with Salah, the price as well, which, you know, is certainly worth considering. You're probably talking about £20 million in the difference. So yeah, I'd go with Marmoush. And the injury concern, which I know a friend a moment ago thought that the injury thing wasn't as bad, but as I said, he's missed 38 games in the last 2 seasons, which is an injury record to me, or an injury problem. Can't wait to get some Links Africa tomorrow. Yes, good man. Proper order that. It's not Christmas unless you get a Links Africa set. Craig, would you sell Darwin? I think it's time to move him on. I would in the summer. Yeah, I would. I think we're fine with the forwards we have for this season. And I think Darwin will contribute. Maybe not as much as we would have wanted him to, but I think he'll contribute. If Diogo can stay fit, he's a great option. We've seen Diaz can be used through the centre, and we've still got Chiesa to come back into the fold as well. So, yeah, for me, the summer is the sensible play to move Darwin on if needs be and bring in another forward. I'm looking forward to having a Christmas Parmo Middlesbrough delicacy. Sweet. Enjoy. If Slot wins the league first season, does it make Klopp look not as good as we thought? No, not for me, Richard. I think there's something to Arne Slot maybe being a little bit more savvy in not running players into the ground or rotating them a bit more. But I also think, if Jurgen had a season where Manchester City did this, let's say, we'd win that league. Let's be honest. More likely than not, we'd win that league. So yeah, I often wonder what Jurgen is thinking of looking at this now, because Arsenal haven't lived up to what everybody thought they were going to do so far this season. City are just in a really peculiar place where, one win in 12 in all comps. So yeah, I think Jurgen would have definitely won another Premier League if he had one of those City seasons. And I also want to say, I know it's easy now we're looking back, but I don't think we can express quite how much that first one in 30 years, how big of a monkey to get off our back that was. That pressure to get that, 30 years without a league title for a football club like Liverpool is a lifetime. So to get that one done, it was a big, big thing, like a very big thing. Charlie, how are you, mate? And thank you for your super chat, mate. Said, in between now and the end of the season, Jota gets injured again for several weeks, I'd sell him and keep Darwin, personally. Look, I can understand anybody who has concerns about Jota's injury record. And I've said before, I can see sometimes it would be a coin toss to see which one you'd sell or not sell. And I've gone back and forth over it, if I'm being honest, Charlie, on a few occasions as well. And then I see Jota fit, and then I remember why we all love him so much. Yeah, it is frustrating, because imagine you had a fully fit Diogo Jota for a whole year. I think he'd do a lot of damage in the goal scoring charts. Rebel 21 said, King Klopp is our guy, a through red. Yes, on and off the pitch, as a human being, as a leader, as somebody who helped build this club back up, delivered that league title, a European Cup, the greatest years of my life supporting Liverpool Football Club, some of the greatest nights and days of my life watching football. Yeah, there's nobody will ever, run Jurgen down around me anyway. Not that anyone's trying to do it, but yeah, Jurgen's next thing to godliness for me. If you could sign the number 9 who's in form, who would you buy? I think the two we spoke about earlier are probably... I don't think Gyökeres works for us as well as he would do elsewhere. I don't want Haaland, despite how good he is. So I'd say it's Marmoush or Isak. And I like Marmoush. Although, whether you class him as a centre-forward or a wide player or a versatile forward, I just think he's the right one for us. But either one, and I wouldn't be too displeased. Jamin said, the longer you go without winning the league, the harder it is to win it. Oh, mate, I said this to you so many times, right? But when I was an 8-year-old kid and I was playing football, my first year playing football, I remember being on minibuses, laughing at United fans. I think at that time it was probably 23, 24 years or something like that, singing 24 years and you haven't won the league, laughing about it. Little did I think that it would be, until I was 40 odd, that I'd see Liverpool win a league title. So, yeah, or maybe it was 10 years of age, actually, when I was singing that. But, yeah, so it is a difficult one to get that first one done. As Arsenal are finding out now as well. It's the first one for them in a while since Wenger. And they're not capable of it at the minute. Paolo Atan said, Merry Christmas from Costa Rica, Craig. If we bring Marmoush in, do you think he'll struggle with the pressure of performing at the same level as Salah? No, because I think he'd have more breathing room. You wouldn't have to be thrown in and have to work straight away, because you have Jota, you have Salah, you have Chiesa, you have Gakpo and you have Diaz at that point. So I'm assuming we sold Darwin then. So no, I think there'd be less pressure on him as well because we have such a good collection of forwards, which is why I want the idea of Marmoush coming in while Salah's still here, because, you know, they can then learn from each other, work together, fill in for each other, just give us more options and less pressure on him to have to succeed immediately. Charlie said, interesting question. If we never got Klopp, would we be where we are now? Not a chance in hell. No. No way. No. It just wouldn't. Look, you could. Yes, our recruitment was great. And you got to give the owners and Edwards their props on the recruitment we had done. But no. No. Without Kloppo, I don't think we could have attracted some of the players. You know, I think coming to play for Jurgen was almost, what would I say, compensation for the fact that we weren't a regular Champions League club. We were, you know, Champions League, Europa League, up and down. Klopp kind of made up for some of those deficiencies and being able to come and play for Jurgen at Liverpool. I think that was a special thing as well. Right, Ricky Paul. Thank you, bro, again, for your super chat. Very kind. Said, evening, Craig. Just been in an accident and written my new car off. I'm here now to settle my nerves, but thankful for every second, people. Do you know what's crazy, Ricky? And I also had a crash and wrote a car off on Christmas Eve. So what I will say to you is, what happened with me was I was fine for hours, and then the shock hit me later on that evening. So do make sure, mate, that you're around family, friends, people, and keep an eye on yourself. Because I was a little bit on adrenaline, I think, for 3 or 4 hours. And then it just hit me like that. And I felt it. So just take care of yourself. You know, make sure you've got somebody around you. And as you said, yes, I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you're well. And every second is important. Definitely. As I keep saying to you, mate, I'm 43. My dad died at 45. My granddad died at 37. For me, I'm at a stage of life now where I do try to make the most of all the time I have. Benedict Kofi said, happy Christmas, Craig. Love your channel. Thank you, my friend. And happy Christmas to you as well, Benedict. Kieran, happy Christmas to you as well, mate. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night. You know, it is Christmas Eve and I want to grab a shower and get a bit of food and stuff as well and get ready for tomorrow. But we will see you guys on the 26th, or we call it Stevens' Day here in Ireland, Boxing Day to you guys. We'll see you for the Leicester City game. We're going to start at 6:45 for the watch-along, match reaction, player ratings video, and everything else. The preview for the Leicester City game is coming out tomorrow. So look, one last favour. We're at 890 likes. We need 110 to get over 1,000. Christmas Eve stream. If you can, do hit that like button for me before you head off. And let's get us up over 1,000 likes. Merry Christmas to you all. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope the next year is filled full of peace, prosperity and happiness for you and your families and everybody. No matter what religion you are, what part of the world you're in, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, I hope you have a wonderful 2025 ahead of you, filled full of happy memories and health for you and your families. And thank you again for a tremendous year on the channel. And yeah, much love to you all. I really, really want you guys to know before I finish up tonight how much I love each and every one of you for changing my life, for, you know, supporting me as you do, and for being on this journey with me. So thank you all, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day tomorrow. Bye bye.